Yo, I think we got it set up. Okay. What's good, everybody? What's good, party people in the place to be? It's the number one chief rocker. Y'all know who it is. Uncle Freezie in the building. Just coming through, rock the spot for a little bit. Man, I missed y'all a little bit last night, man. After the game, it was so late, man. And man was like, yo, I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna go to bed, man, and sleep on this thing. I didn't want to get on the microphone and sound crazy and talk nonsense last night, man. So yeah, y'all pardon self for me not rocking like I should have or like we normally do. Man, your man just tired, whatever. Knicks lost, Jalen Brunson was hurt. But here's the reason why I'm here today, man. Here's the reason why I'm here today. Yo, this scapegoat, whatever this is, man, is crazy, man. Yo, legit, this is beyond bonkers, yo. First of all, happy birthday to myself, right? Happy birthday, Uncle Freezie. Shit, salute, right? Kerry Cox is in the building, son of the legend. What's good? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is in the building, just Knicks. Everybody watching on X and on YouTube, yo, salute, man. Salute. Real King in the building, salute. Yo, we got Pastor J in the building. Hey, just Knicks. Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Kerry, hey, the son of appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Man, listen, man. This scapegoating stuff has got to stop, bro. I mean, it's got to stop. I was thinking about this thing, right? Just trying to have a clear mind and a clear heart, right? I legit didn't want to just get out here and be like, yeah, man, all the blame go to such and such, right? As Knicks fans and as a content creator, we go through the cycle of seeing players come, see players go, right? See the roster turn over. And throughout all of that, what I noticed, the trend is, and mind you, I was caught up in this trend. But as a content creator, when I think about people's thoughts and I monitor press conferences and I look on social media and I read the papers and all the articles and all that stuff, the one thing that I notice is that the Knicks, unlike any other fan base, find a scapegoat and ride that person hard, right? Like all the problems of the organization is put on the back of one person. And listen, this is not a Karl-Anthony Towns referendum yet. It will become that later on in the show, right? I'm not going to lie to you. Cat is a Knick, and I support Knicks players, right? I support Knicks players. Derek Franks is in the building. Salute, Franks. What's good, brother? I support Knicks players. I know NBA players are flawed. It's the reason why y'all hear me always. It sounds like I'm capping for everyone when I say certain things. Like, I'll say certain things like, it's difficult in the league for guys to be two-way players, right? You hear me say, it's hard to get assists when other guys are not making shots, right? You'll hear me say a lot of different things because I support Knicks players. Tori B is in the building. Salute. Over the years, what I noticed time after time is that the fan base will legitimately find a scapegoat and listen. This is the family tree of scapegoats, right? The family tree of scapegoats. I'll start with Julius Randle. Before Cat, right? Before Cat, Julius Randle was the scapegoat. Every time we lost, we blamed Randle, right? Every time we lost, we blamed Julius Randle, right? Oh, Julius Randle doesn't scramble out to the corner for threes. He lets guys have 3-pointers in the corner. The only reason why Randle gets rebounds is because Mitchell Robinson is blocking everybody out. And Mitchell Robinson can grab 30 rebounds a game if it wasn't for Julius Randle. Like, I heard it all. I heard it all. I heard it all when it came to Randle. The Randle slander was untenable. It was ridiculous, right? Because we couldn't win, right? We couldn't win championships. And so we decided to point our anger at one person. And it's not just a Randle thing, right? It's not just Randle, right? Like Miguel P says, it's all Uncle Freezie fault. Bam, there it is. It's all my fault, right? It's all my fault, right? But y'all know I don't care though. Y'all know I don't care, right? So I mean, but it can't be or it can be overwhelming as a content creator that cares about everyone involved, right? I care about the chat. I care about you guys first, right? I care about the rest of Knicks universe second, right? I care about the Knicks players third, right? I care about the organization fourth. Like, I legit care in this universe. Like there are certain things I care about, certain things I could care less, right? Certain things I can care, some things I care about, some things I could care less. The one thing about the scapegoat thing is while the scapegoat thing carries on its life and existence and things, it's our easy fallback answer plan, whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever you want to call it. It's whatever it is, right? In my mind, that is the unsolvable riddle that we face ourselves with when it shouldn't even be a thing. The reason why there is a scapegoat is because there is a problem. But instead of us solving the problem, we point fingers at the scapegoat. Instead of us pointing our fingers at problems, we're like, cat's the problem. Cat not built for New York. Right? Cat's not built for. Cat grew up 30 minutes outside the city. What are we talking about? This dude's not from Montana. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Karl-Anthony Towns is not from Ada, Oklahoma. He's from 30 minutes outside the city. What are we talking about? Cat's not built for New York is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard a Knicks fan say. And trust me, I've heard Knicks fans say ridiculous stuff. I got a channel, man. We got like however many subscribers, right? We're small, right? This is a small Knicks fans channel, right? This is a small Knicks fans channel, but I mean, come on, what are we doing? Right? Why can't we realize that every problem has a solution? Right? Every problem has a solution to it. We have to figure out what the solution is. Right? I'll tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all, right? legitimately, I feel like the more this season goes along, I'm going from being Mike Brown's biggest fan to a guy that's looking at Mike Brown like, hey, y'all, you know what? I'm not on board. I want to support Mike Brown. I don't want to throw Mike Brown under the bus. But this offense that the Knicks run, the personnel groupings, right? All these different things, all of this stuff is questionable to me. If you have Karl-Anthony Towns at 7 foot, 260 pounds, and you can't figure out a way to draw up pin downs for OG Anunoby and Karl-Anthony Towns, I don't know what the hell the coach is doing. How do you not, all this fancy, oh, we're going to run, we're going to pick up the pace, we're going to do all these different things. And so you can't run a pin down for OG Anunoby at the rim so OG Anunoby can get easy baskets over smaller guys? I mean, this is ridiculous. I saw Eric Spoelstra run the same play against a Tom Thibodeau defense that got Jimmy Butler pinning RJ Barrett under the rim for an entire NBA playoff series. I saw with my own eyes Eric Spoelstra run the same pin down play to get Jimmy Butler on RJ Barrett every trip down the floor if they wanted it. And here's the thing. This is not 100% Jimmy Butler superhero guy. This is not Jimmy playoffs. This was an injured Jimmy Butler coming into the series hobbled with a high ankle sprain. So this is not Jimmy superpowers guy. This was a hobbled Jimmy Butler that Eric Spoelstra ran the same play over and over and over and over and over because the Knicks couldn't stop it. But Mike Brown wants to run these dudes so they tongue hang out and shoot a million threes and then point to Cat as the problem. What does Karl-Anthony Towns have to do with anything Mike Brown said in his introductory press conference of what he is bringing to the table? Mike Brown said with his own lips, yeah, we're going to try to pick up the pace. We don't need a traditional point guard in a sense because any guy can initiate the offense. Mike Brown said that shit. I didn't ask Mike Brown to say these things. And then to constantly throw a Knicks player under the bus. Are you serious? You don't have the cachet to be throwing Knicks players under the bus. You just got here. How does Mike Brown just get here? Mike Brown legitimately has barely been here 6 months. And you throwing guys under the bus like, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. If everyone was getting thrown under the bus, if you messed up and he threw you under the bus, you know what? I'd be cool with it, even though, hey, listen, even though I'm not for throwing people under the bus, I'm for private conversations. Anybody that has talked to me on the phone, y'all know my personality type. I'm a stand-up guy. and I take pride in it, right? I speak plain and straight to the point. I'm not going to finesse anybody, and it's not because I'm scared that your feelings are going to be hurt if you feel like I'm finessing you. It's because I don't have the emotional energy to finesse people. I got other stuff I got to handle in life. That's why I'm not a finesser. I don't have the energy to finesse people. I'm just going to talk to you straight. Sometimes it's going to sound crazy when I say it. When you think about what I said, you know I'm coming from a genuine place. Mike Brown in a press conference said, when he got here, we're going to shoot a lot of threes. We're going to pick up, we're going to run. You know, we got to get out in transition. We're going to sprint to the corners. Anybody except the center can initiate offense. Guys 1 through 4 can initiate my offense. Mike Brown, what offense? What are the Knicks running right now? Right now, and from a distance, I see this stuff on TV, right? From a distance, when I see that, it looks like a sped up version of what Tom Thibodeau was running. Mike Brown in the half court is speeding up what Tom Thibodeau used to run. Yo, run what Tibbs ran, just run it faster. But with all those different things, what does this have to do with Cat? What does this have to do with Cat? Yo, we need to shoot more threes. We need to sprint to these corners. Anybody but the center, 1 through 4, can initiate the offense. What does this have to do with Karl-Anthony Towns? I have no idea how an NBA coach with that huge coaching staff, they have an army of coaches over there. They have so many coaches. They have specialists, a big man coach, a development coach, a this coach, a that coach, and all of that. And every night all we see is what Tom Thibodeau ran, but faster. Or with the intent to be faster. I got to rephrase that because it's not always faster, but the intent of it is to be faster. Why do we always have to have a scapegoat? It's always one person, whether it's Karl-Anthony Towns, whether it's Julius Randle, whether it's Mikal Bridges. Last year, one could say it was Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns. How do we always have a one person that we're going to focus our ire? Before Karl-Anthony Towns got here, before Mikal Bridges got here, it was Julius Randle. And during Julius Randle's time, it was Elfrid Payton at one time, Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle, and then Evan Fournier and Julius Randle. But why we have a scapegoat boggles my mind in a sense of we are frustrated about a thing, but instead of answering the problem, hey, why does this offense look whack at times? Why does this perimeter defense look whack at times? How come the young guys, how come Pakem Dadier is not playing? How come Mo Diawara makes, for every one good play, he makes 7 terrible plays? And I know the guy has only been here 6 months, but Mike Brown, I'm watching you, bro. Because there is no way in the world where you can say you can't get OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, and Karl-Anthony Towns pin downs at the rim when it's the most basic play in basketball. How? The scapegoat thing boggles my mind. Mike Brown is using Cat as a scapegoat, but Mike Brown said out of his own mouth, we're going to throw Mitchell Robinson more lobs. He said out of his own mouth, hell, I can throw Mitchell Robinson 3 lobs a game. Mike Brown, that's a quote from Mike Brown. He said that. We didn't force him to say that. And every day, right? Every day, we legitimately hide our misgivings and failures by putting someone out front and putting a target on their back so our misgivings and misfortunes and errors can be out of the spotlight. The game last night should have absolutely been Mike Brown's piece de resistance. Yo, salute to all my people in the chat, man. I see y'all, but I got this thought on my mind, man. I'm trying to get out before I forget. I'm supposed to be doing an interview with another NBA content creator, so I'm just checking something real quick, y'all. How do we even get here where a content creator is frustrated beyond all means on his birthday about promises made and promises unkept? There were promises made and promises unkept. See, the thing about a declarative statement, if you make a declarative statement and it wind up not being true, that's okay. But when you make a promise, see, that's something different. Salute y'all, and thank y'all for the birthday wishes too, man. I appreciate y'all. In my opinion, as I thought about this overnight, the main thing I was thinking is this. One of the parts of our culture that we need to recover from is the easy assignment of scapegoat status. Right? When we fail, we have to point at somebody the reason why we failed. When the Knicks fail, we have to point the finger at somebody. Right? When we fail, we have to point the finger at somebody. Get them out of here. Right? We had to get guys out of here. If a system's not working, then we have to trade somebody. Right? We have to trade somebody. Well, how about this? Now, listen, everybody, listen. This is not an indictment on MSG or Leon Rose. I think they've done a fantastic job. James Dolan, fantastic job. What I'm talking about is the culture that we can't somehow refine. Like, we can't refine this culture because the trappings of our old ways always get them. Here's a better term for it: baggage. The list of scapegoats go back to, this is not a Cat or Randle thing, right? I'll give you some scapegoats of the past, and y'all tell me if I'm going too far, right? But Karl-Anthony Towns is a scapegoat this year. Cat was a scapegoat last year, along with Mikal Bridges. The year before that, it was Julius Randle. The years before that, Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, Evan Fournier. Scapegoats. The years before that, the young kids, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, all them guys. Right? The years before that, J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert, those guys. They're scapegoats because the Carmelo team couldn't win. We always use the term, Melo didn't have enough help. Why are we using that supporting cast as a scapegoat instead of saying maybe we didn't hire the right coach? Because you can't always blame the players. How is it that we can always blame the players but not the orchestrator or the boss? What kind of restaurant have you been to and got bad service, and instead of saying, hey, let me speak to the person in charge, you want to go talk to the fry cook? You want to talk to the person at the register. All she's doing is ringing you up, and you're like, the meal is bad. I want to talk to the lowest person on the totem pole. As opposed to accountability starting with I watched the game last night. The Knicks couldn't get into any offense in a game Mike Brown cared about. And at no point did he say, hey, listen, we're down our primary ball handler. So instead of doing what we traditionally do, how about if Cat is the second option, how about we go and use Cat? I know, hey, listen, I know that's a novel idea. When your best player is away, how about we feature the second best player? Every time I think about last night game, I'm like, OG, Bridges, Cat, all them dudes making money, they're not the problem because the NBA has a salary cap, right? The NBA, but you know what though? You know what? Coaches don't have a salary cap. They don't get held accountable like that. You can fire them and they still get their bread. You can fire an NBA coach and them checks are still going to hit that direct deposit to those accounts on time until the end of that term. How Mike Brown in a game where your best player is out, you can't run simple pin downs for Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, and Cat. You legit have Yabusele sprinting up this motherfucker had Yabusele sprinting up the floor dribbling. Sorry, Mike Brown, I didn't mean to call you that. But you was that last night, though. When Jalen Brunson is out, Yabusele is grabbing rebounds, pushing the ball up the floor. But Karl-Anthony Towns gets the blame. And not for last night, not once in a while, but all the time, you can see that this guy is not using a guy. Mike Brown can't draw up simple rub screens to get a pin down for Mitchell Robinson on a smaller man at the rim. You can't run a brush screen to get a pin down for a bigger person versus a little person at the rim. This is beyond disappointing, right? Mike Brown feeding into the scapegoat narrative is beyond disappointing. I thought this guy was classy. The night that Julian Champagnie knocked down all those threes and the San Antonio Spurs lost, Mike Brown was like, we didn't call the culprits by name, right? He didn't call the culprits by name, right? But anytime there's a time where he can put the focus on Cat, he does so with a smile on his face. And as a Knicks fan, we're like, you're on one side or the other. You want to win so bad that when the coach says something, you're like, yeah, coach. Yeah, coach. I've been a Knicks fan too long, bro. I already been through this. I know a little bit about basketball. I know that they could run a rub screen to get Cat to rub off Precious and get Cat matched up against Zach LaVine. I know this is a thing that can be done. I've seen it. I've seen it happen to us. I know that a coaching staff can legitimately run rub screens to get Mitchell Robinson on De'Aaron Fox. I mean, not De'Aaron Fox, but Malik Monk. How do you not? How do you not? How do you not run basic screenplays in order to get mismatches at the rim? You do it on the perimeter. If there's a Knicks fan in here, listen, how many times have you seen someone set a screen up top on the perimeter to get a big guy onto a little guy so the little guy can take advantage? How? How many times have you seen one of our bigs come up to the top of the key and set screens so Jalen Brunson can take advantage of a bigger, slower defender? How many times? We've probably seen it. Brunson, this is Brunson's 4th year. We've probably seen that happen at least 5,000 times. How? I saw Eric Spoelstra. Place Kevin Love at the top of the key and have Jimmy Butler just come across the lane with RJ Barrett on his hip, stop right there, and Kevin Love just throw the ball to Jimmy Butler at the rim. Hobble Jimmy, just taking advantage of RJ Barrett. And you're telling me that you can't get that OG Anunoby versus Malik Monk? You can't get that Cat or Mitch versus Zach LaVine? What are we doing? And then when we struggle offensively, when Cat turned the ball over, you're like, see, I told you. You don't put the guy in a position to be successful. And then when he fails, you're like, hey, see, I told you. It's not my system. My system is flawless. It's not. If he'd have just listened to what I said, what system? Running fast is not a system. That's nature. People running fast existed before you were born. What are we talking about? the scapegoat thing is bananas to me, right? You already know. We talked about this during the summer, right? A team with 2 7-footers that play together in a rotation that play minutes together are not going to be running up and down the floor. That's not conducive to what they do best. You got Mitchell Robinson and Cat on the floor, and you expect them to run like the Golden State Warriors. You have 7-footers on the floor, and you expect them to zoom, zoom, zoom up and down the floor, up and down the floor. I don't know why it was important for him to point out that, hey man, Cat got to do, man, we got to blah 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 with Cat this, Cat that. It made me think, bro, this dude coaching for his job already. It made me think Mike Brown is coaching for his job already, and I'm sorry to say that, and I know it's early. But how do you say desperate stuff like this as the coach? At a minimum, he could have said, hey, listen, it's been a long road trip. I know we were off for a couple of days, but, beat this all this travel. Our best player was hurt and blah, 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 blah. But no. We're like, hey, no, it's all Cat fault. All the threes that we gave up to the Sacramento Kings is because of Karl-Anthony Towns. And I watched the game. All of this is Cat fault. How? The San Antonio game, when Julian Champagnie hit 8 threes from the same spot, how is that Cat's fault? The perimeter defense is Cat's fault. Right? 3-point shooting, that's Cat's fault. The hustle, that's Cat's fault. The scapegoat thing in our culture, and listen, I know I'm speaking about 2 separate things at the same time, but I'm pointing these things out because the coach is using an inherent thing that's a rock in our shoe in order to insulate himself. They seem separate, but they're the same, right? A new coach is using an old Knicks trope in order to insulate himself against criticism. It's easy. It's the hidden ball trick. I'm like, hey, which one I got? Which one? Oh, you picked this one. Surprise, it's this one. He's using a old trope, the Charles Smith discussion. Oh, all Charles Smith had to do was go to the rim strong. Bro, that's a rock in our shoe, bro. John Starks was 2 for 18. Pat Ewing never had any help. Bro, that's the scapegoat thing, bro. Elijah Wan played like a megastar in that series. The scapegoats are everywhere in our culture. John Starks and his crew wasn't good enough to help Pat win a chip. Charles Smith should have went up strong, even though he was getting fouled on a play and the ref didn't blow the whistle because it was Jordan, Horace Grant, and Scottie Pippen fouling him. All the kids are mid. I don't like French players. All these scapegoats that we use. All these scapegoats that we use over the years, we point to all of them. I don't want Mo Diawara to play. He's Kevin Knox. Like all these weird scapegoatish things and excuses. And Mike Brown is tapping into that right in front of our face pulling some of our Knicks family into it because we can't help ourselves. We can't. Most of us are really smart. Most of us know a ton about basketball. A bunch of us have followed the Knicks forever, right? But there's this one emotional thing that is our flaw. And Mike Brown is using it in order to cover up what it is, to hide. Cover up is a strong word. Hide their misgivings. And I'm not a Mike Brown hater. Y'all know who my choice was. My choice was Taylor Jenkins. The Knicks didn't pick him. I'm a Knicks fan. I trust the Knicks organization in order to pick the right coach. So I'm not up here saying that I'm saying this because I want Tibbs or Taylor Jenkins. I'm up here saying, yo, you got to stop throwing our players under the bus. You got to stop throwing our. We have a team, 1 through 18, or however many people are on the roster, are a team. Players, coaches, staff, front office, owners, fans, content creators, everybody is a part of a grand organization. And when you throw one person under the bus and make that person feel less than, then it impacts everybody. Why is it necessary to make Karl-Anthony Towns feel less than? Why? You got 2 7-footers and you want to run a zoom, zoom, zoom up and down offense. It lets me think that you don't know your personnel or don't care to know your personnel. And maybe it's Cat's fault. Maybe it's Josh Hart's fault, right? Like maybe it's those guys' fault, right? Because at the start of the season, they like, hey man, I don't know what I'm doing here. This dude coming in with all this new stuff. I don't know what the hell is going on. This dude want 2 7-footers to run up and down the floor and a fast-paced offense. He want to start me and Mitch together and have us sprinting from rim to rim all night and wonder why we tired. I don't know. I don't know. But in the resume theory, right, you are what your resume says you are. Or for sports fans, you are what the back of your baseball card says, right? How is it that Karl-Anthony Towns is not, under Mike Brown, is not what his resume says he is? How come Karl-Anthony Towns, under Mike Brown, is not what the back of his basketball card says he is? But we throw people under the bus. Of course, this is not a finished product. This is a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year and lost, right? They have high expectations for this year, right? But you can't, as a coach, and I know this is a thing, right? Y'all know what coaches do, right? Coaches, every coach I played for has always done this, and these coaches always seem to lose, right? They pick one guy that's going to be untouchable, and then they pick another guy to throw under the bus to motivate him to be better. In most cases, though, the guy that you do that to, winds up not giving you everything he's got because for what? For what? All coaches do it. Or let me restate. A lot of coaches do it. They pick a guy that's beyond reproach. You can't say nothing about him. And then a player on the same team, probably just as valuable, on the same team, you pick that guy to wear the black hat. One guy wears the white hat. You can't say shit about him. And then the other guy is the bad guy, and you constantly throw him under the bus. But for Mike Brown, though, starting out of the gate, you start out the gate with too many flaws. Do you know the guys that you're looking to coach? Some guys enjoy being the villain. Some guys don't like being the guy with the white hat, right? Clearly, that's what Mike Brown is doing. But why? Why throw said player, why throw Cat under the bus in a culture you know has a history of scapegoating? And then, so the real rock in my shoe is we're not explaining why said player is being thrown under the bus. We're saying general stuff like such and such has got to play better. What the hell does that mean? Such and such has got to play better? Such and such has got to play. Hey, experienced head coach, what the hell does that mean? Such and such has got to play better. There's no thing to it. Like there's no, you know what? When we run such and such plays for such and such player, he's got to establish such and such so that the other guys on the team will know what to do after he's established at such and such position. No. We're like, hey, such and such got to play better. And when I hear that, I automatically know like Mike Brown don't want to take the blame for nothing. Mike Brown don't want to take the blame, so you could blame somebody else. Blame Cat. Hell, the Knicks have a history of scapegoating. And listen, and other content creators might not talk about this, and I don't care. Right? Other people, other fans, all that stuff, they probably won't talk about, and I don't care. I'm not them, and they're not we. Right? I'm not them, and they're not we. The thing that Mike Brown did, like the last 3 or 4 times, is a rock in my shoe. And it makes me think that Mike Brown may not be here as long as we thought he'd be. Throwing players under the bus. If everyone was being thrown under the bus, I could dig it. Yo, I appreciate y'all letting me rant for a little bit, man. Just coming through. If I if I offended somebody, if I offended somebody that I like in the chat, hey, Real King, if I offended y'all, Raphael, if I offended y'all, man, y'all know what it is. y'all know what it is. Y'all know I'm not throwing nobody away. This is a rock in my shoe, though. This is a rock in my shoe. It bothers me that the accountability thing. We watched the backcourt give up 11 3-pointers, 8 from the same spot. Mike Brown didn't say shit. Then in Sacramento, with everybody looking, we going through this little losing spell, right? Mike Brown need a scapegoat. Oh, I got one. It's 7 foot 260. And the Knicks fan base, that's right in their emotional wheelhouse, right? That's right in their emotional wheelhouse, because we like blaming Charles Oakley for not guarding Carl Herrera. We like that. Hey man, if Charles Oakley would have just guarded Carl Herrera, man, we would have beat the Rockets. If John Starks didn't go 2 for 18, if Derek Harper could have guarded the pick and roll and stopped giving up threes at the top of the key, if Charles Smith would have did such and such. Man, if Shumpert and J.R. Smith would have just been better players to give Melo help. If Evan Fournier and Julius Randle, if Elfrid Payton, if Julius Randle would have never did the thumbs down, we would have won 2 championships by now. If Karl-Anthony Towns would have stopped all that damn rebounding and fighting bodies under the rim for rebounds and just sprinted the floor to the other end and be one of the main cogs of the offense, we would have won against Sacramento. Instead of the coach putting guys in a position to win. Because even if he put them in a position to win and they didn't win, we would have still been like, you know what? Those guys were prepared. Those guys were prepared and they gave max effort. But maybe preparing players is not a thing for this regime. Maybe adjusting during the game is a thing with this regime. Hey, thank y'all for coming through, listening to me rant for like 55 minutes or so. Let me get out of here and get some birthday dinner. Man, the Knicks at Night podcast might be crazy tonight, yo. The Knicks at Night podcast might be crazy. Thank y'all for watching. Peace, everybody.